Hey, what's up guys, it's WiseGuyVito here, and today I have our tier list video for you guys. I'm pushing out more of these tier lists because just things are just happening and changing around. I do plan on doing more build videos in the future because a lot of stuff got buffed in the last 60-day patch, and hopefully, they have frequent content updates at this point because I think balancing needs to be kind of put on the back burner a little bit because a lot of stuff kills now, and I think that's a very good thing for the game overall. But today, I'm going to go over primary weapons against the Terminid faction and kind of rank what I think is the best primaries in the game versus the not-so-great primaries in the game against the Terminid faction. If you will, like, share, and subscribe for more videos in the future. Try to get to 1,000 subs. Would be greatly appreciated. I love the support that you guys have been giving me so far. So let's get straight into the tier list video. So real quick, before we start, let's go over the tiers. S tier it's a phenomenal weapon performance-wise against the Terminids. Very good weapon overall. Definitely is kind of like a must-pick, especially if you're going to play on super Helldive difficulty. This will make sure that you get those high kill count numbers overall. A tier it's an above-average gun. It may have one glaring issue overall with it. Maybe they give it a buff and kind of like shore up that weakness to it so that it does become kind of like that S tier kind of gold standard type of weapon. B tier, it's an average weapon. There's nothing really special to it, really. It's kind of boring, I guess, Terminids, really. But there's nothing that pops out and says, like, this is like an amazing weapon against Terminids. You can still use it. It's just nothing really special about it. C tier is below average. It has some problems with it. It may be underperforming as far as power-wise and definitely needs to be buffed in some way, shape, or form. And then D tier is Dookie tier. It is bad. It is ass. This is the ass tier, in my opinion. Definitely needs some sort of rework in order to make it better, and I do think that there is one gun in particular that no matter how many times they buff it, it still sucks, and we will go over that in this tier list video. So let's get straight into it. So first and foremost, the Adjudicator is S tier now. I've been using it quite frequently since the 60-day release or update release. This is a very, very good gun now. It does 90 damage now. It does phenomenal damage as far as durable damage goes. They increase the mag size from 25 to 30. It's a very versatile gun now, and plus it does medium armor pen. So you can use it against Hive Guardians and Bowel Spewers, and the damage for this gun does it very, very well, and it has actually a pretty good ammo economy to it. They also buffed the handling of the gun, or like the recoil of it, so it doesn't jump out of your hands anymore. Like, this gun consistently is just getting buffs, and it just gets way, way better every single patch. I had it at the top of A tier last time, or what I would consider to be top of A tier. Now it is S tier in my opinion, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't even take this over the Tenderizer. Oh, sorry, I would take this over the Tenderizer because it is just that good of a Liberator weapon, and I do think that it's probably the best Liberator out of the bunch currently, and I think that it should be the gold standard of how to kind of formulate around like the Liberator trees and kind of make them stand out above the rest. But overall, I think this gun's a phenomenal gun. The Blitzer is still S tier. Phenomenal stagger damage, good damage overall. Arc damage is also very, very good on this gun. What's there not to like about this gun for the most part? And plus, it's full auto and it has unlimited ammo to it as well. They actually buffed it last time by giving it like a staggering effect. So the more times that you hit an enemy, the more times that it would, or like it would build up like kind of like a stagger meter to it. Like it was kind of hidden. And once that enemy reaches that stagger meter, or like the full stagger point, it would just completely just stop in its tracks and it couldn't do anything. So that's why, like, currently I really do think that the Blitzer's in a very, very good spot currently. The Breaker, I think, is on the low end of A tier, and the reason why that I think that is because, it doesn't feel like it's at its peak whenever it first came out, but then again, like, whenever the game first came out, a lot of primaries weren't really where they should be, but, I still think that it's a fine weapon. It's more of a single target weapon than anything else. But against Terminids, you really don't want single target. In my opinion, you want more of like a spread than anything else, or more versatility against Terminids because everything is coming at you. And other than that, like, it feels fine. Like, it does really good single target damage, but that's really all that I gotta say about the weapon. It's still good, but it's not it's not really to where it was back whenever it first came out. The Cookout is still S tier. Staggers, causes like damage over time, and it's a fantastic crowd control. What's not to like? Also has a fantastic economy to it. So that's it about the Cookout. Everyone knows the Cookout is still S tier at this point. The Diligence Counter Sniper, I want to put it in S tier, but I'm going to put it at top of A. Very, very good overall. Does very well against single target, and it has medium armor PIM as well, so you can handle the Hive Guardians and Bile Spewers as well. It definitely has more of a dynamic type of playstyle to it. But if you get swarmed, you're kind of screwed with this weapon. So that's why I'm putting it in A tier. I don't think it needs a buff as far as like, more, like better crowd control or anything. It's just, it has a different playstyle to it, which is more sit back, campy type playstyle, kind of pick stuff off. And then once enemies just run up on you, you kind of just die at that point. The Defender, definitely is not the best liberator or like the best liberator or like the best assault rifle in the game. I still think that's the Adjudicator currently. But I do think that it's still like an A tier weapon in my opinion. I'm surprised this thing hasn't caught a nerf. It's actually gotten, I believe it's actually gotten some buffs in previous patches, and I'm actually kind of happy for this little gun. It's great. It's still good. You can use it one-handed. It's a very versatile weapon against the bugs. It's just, there's nothing really that pops out that says that it's like a unique weapon. It's just like the average SMG. It's the beginner SMG, and I think that it does very, very fine at what it does. Diligence, I do think it's on low side of A tier. I think the only thing that it needs is more durable damage, so it can do, or that it can one-shot body shot hunters. I think that'd be very, very good for the gun overall, because I do think that it actually does well in swarms. But until they do that, it's kind of going to remain in on the low end of A tier. But for the most part, I still find this gun to be actually kind of good against Terminids ever since it got buffed. The Dominator is still S tier. Even though it's slow and clunky, damage is still really good. Stagger effect and pushback is fantastic. It's a phenomenal single target DPS weapon, and it will forever be that. It can one-shot one-shot hunters. It does very, very well against Hive Guardians, medium armor, medium armor enemies. It's just a phenomenal weapon, like overall. Maybe get a faster reload, but for the most part, like I can't really say bad things about a gun that staggers and really pushes the enemy back, and it's really good single target damage. The Eruptor, I'm sorry, it's still going to be in C tier for me. The Shrapnel acts kind of weird right now. They got rid of the Shrapnel ricochet, and in my opinion, I kind of think it needs its old Shrapnel back, in my opinion, because that was the reason why they nerfed it, was because they added that ricochet mechanic to the game that was just awful to play against, or just awful in general, and that was the reason why they changed it from like this kind of like shrapnel rifle to a kind of like a shitty autocannon, in my opinion, like autocannon primary. And in my opinion, I think they need to revert back to the beginning, or like kind of like what it was at its original state, in my opinion. So Airhead, get to it, because this gun is still not where it should be, in my opinion. Very, very weak. Like from whenever I use it, at least, it has some moments where I can do like decent crowd control, but in my opinion, there is a way better option, which is the explosive crossbow. The explosive crossbow is tip top, in my opinion. It is probably like one of the best guns, if not the best gun in the entire game currently, because it does fantastic crowd control. It's silent. You can one-hand it. It can two-tap Bile Spewers. It can do really, really. It has medium armor pin. It can handle crowd control very, very well. So like a group of hunters, it can decimate them very, very quickly. Has a fantastic ammo economy. What's not there to like about the gun? And plus it's silent, so you can kind of do like a little stealth run if you even want to. It's a phenomenal gun. Use it. I do think that it is currently like the better Eruptor, and until the Eruptor has something to it in the future, I'm still going to bring the crossbow, because the crossbow exists currently. It is the Eruptor. It has the Eruptor status, in my opinion. So use the crossbow, drop the Eruptor, in my opinion, because it's just not worth it versus the crossbow. The Incendiary Breaker, fantastic still. Even though I don't agree with the nerf that it got, it's still a phenomenal weapon. Bring a supply pack with you if you plan on doing like a particular build, like a support role, and you just decimate. Even if you don't bring that, you can still just kind of like lay fire out and stuff like that. If anything, what I would do is actually if they're going to cut back the ammo reserves on it, they should definitely give more ammo into the magazines. I think that'd be a nice trade-off, because it seems like that's what they've been doing as far as balancing goes with these weapons. Liberated Carbine, phenomenal weapon right now. They gave it less recoil, so it's more manageable. I actually do think this gun's actually kind of good against Terminids whenever it comes down to just pure crowd control, because you can fire and spray everything that's in your way, and it's a fantastic burst option overall. And they also decrease the reload time, so like it reloads faster. I do kind of think that needs to be set apart from the other Liberators currently, because in my opinion, why would you take the regular Liberator whenever you could take the Carbine? I understand like the regular Liberator is more controlled, but in my opinion, I still think that the Liberated Carbine is just a better Liberator at this point, because there's really no downsides to it. I would like to see a high capacity mag to this as well, or some sort of like underbarrel to it, like a grenade launcher or like a bayonet, just one of those type of things to kind of like set it apart. The concussive is still very good. It is a support role type of CC type thing, and if you use it in that form, yes, you won't kill anything, but you'll be CCing everything around you, and your teammates will love you, because there are times in Super Helldive where it does get a little bit overwhelming. So you bring this and you just totally decimate everything in front of you. Plus, it has a 60 round drug mag to it, so you can really lay down the fire just around you and keep everything kind of pushed back and stunned while your teammates get set up for better positioning, or like even yourself at better positioning. Liberator Penetrator is still bad. They continuously buff this thing, and it still is trash. They added 15 bullets to it. I think they gave it like less recoil. I think some sort of like durable damage buff to it. However, there is currently a gun that does the exact same thing, more damage. Yes, it has less ammo to the magazine, but in my opinion, the Adjudicator is the better version, in my opinion. So at this point, the Liberator Penetrator, I still think it should be an attachment for the regular Liberator at this point, and needs to be gone from the game unless they do something to it and make it better. Because right now, it's still not good. I'm sorry. It's just not. It's still not good. It's like I tried it like 3 or 4 matches. It's just not that great of a gun, and until they do something to it, it's still going to be D tier for me. The regular Liberator is it's fine. I still think this is the plain Jane gun in my opinion, and until they kind of do something to it, and to be honest with you, I don't think they should do anything to it, because it is the plain Jane gun. It is the beginner rifle. You kind of want to move off of it once you get enough of these weapons, kind of unlocked, and you kind of want to use these other weapons, right? But for the most part, I think the Liberator, as is fine. I think it needs to be in B tier because it is an average weapon. The Punisher got changed. I don't like how the projectile flies currently, so I'm going to put it in A tier. It's not a bad gun. It just feels kind of weird to use, and a lot of people are complaining about that. I didn't really think they needed to change the projectile at all, but for whatever reason they did. So until they fix it, I'm going to put it in A tier. Still a good weapon. Still does like amazing CC and actually okay damage. But, until they kind of change it, I kind of think it needs to be in A tier currently. But I still find it to be kind of fun to use. It's just like the projectile's kind of weird and it's jarring a little bit. The Pummeler, I still think it's like an A tier gun for me. Fantastic CC. And it's actually, basically less ammo Liberator concussive, in my opinion. Has less ammo and it kills. So you can either get one that CCs and kills but has less ammo, or you can just go full support CC. So there's 2 different play styles. Plus it's one-handed, so you can have that kind of versatility to it. It's a phenomenal little submachine gun. The Punisher, I still think is S tier currently. And the reason why I say that is because it does a lot of damage and it staggers. So if you want to have more upfront burst damage, then you pick the Punisher. If you want more dot stagger, CC kind of control to it, then you bring the Cookout. The Purifier is god tier. This gun is so good now. It handles Hive Guardians. It handles two-shots them. It'll two-shot a group of Bile Spewers and Nursing Spewers, because if you fully charge, you get a larger explosion radius, and the multiplier is to 100%. They buff the damage to this gun. It does very well against like groups of enemies. Fantastic CC. It just, you have to kind of like pace your shots. You want the ones they can charge up, in my opinion. You really don't want to spam this gun. The only weakness of this gun is that, you have the little fly boys, the Shriekers. Shriekers are kind of ass, in my opinion, but other than that, it's a phenomenal weapon. Definitely bring it. It is an S tier weapon. Scorcher is an S tier weapon. Now you might say, like why would you bring the the Scorcher over the Purifier for any reason? In my opinion, the fast fire rate to the Scorcher is kind of what it needed. It kind of feels like a weird Liberator in some ways, but just a better overall. But I actually like the feel of the full auto of it, to be honest with you. I actually think that they should add like a little bit more ammo to the gun, like 25 rounds instead of 20. But for the most part, I'm actually very happy with where this gun lands currently. But currently right now, if I had to pick a choice between the two, I think the Purifier is more fun. But the Scorcher is also very, very fun as well, and also does very well against like just hordes of enemies for the most part. The Scythe is A tier for me right now because it does fire damage. There's it can handle like a lot of the smaller enemies, hunters and stuff like that, and and it causes that damage over time with the burn and stuff like that. I still think this weapon's very, very good currently on the Terminids. Sickle, same way. It's kind of like the better Liberator in a lot of ways because it just has a lot of ammo to it, like 99 shots before you have to reload. But even then, like both these weapons have infinite ammo, so you can kind of like manage like how much you shoot and effectively have unlimited ammo and never have to worry about it. Slugger is still bad. It is still bad. Actually, I'm gonna put it in D tier. Even though it has stagger force to it, the fact that it is a slug shotgun and it has deviation within the actual slug itself, meaning that it kind of spreads and kind of like goes all over the place at range, even medium range. It's really bad. This gun is awful to use right now, and until they fix it, I'm gonna put it in D tier because it feels really, really bad to use. Spray and pray. I actually kind of want to put this in S tier. And the reason why is because it does phenomenal jobs against just like a large group of enemies. I actually think this is the better just regular breaker currently on Terminids. And the more times that I use this weapon, the more I fall in love with it because it is a very, very fun gun to use. It is the spray and pray gun. And I think a lot of people are kind of downplaying this gun. I think it feels really, really good right now, especially with the duckbill spread to it, where it does like more of like a horizontal spread to it, and kills like in a fairly large area, and it has a great animal economy because of that. So phenomenal gun. Definitely bring it on Terminid missions. The Knight still feels kind of basic to me. It's definitely not C tier anymore for me, because I think in the past few videos I believe I put it in C tier. It feels better now, but I still think it kind of is like a man weapon. Everyone kind of forgets about this weapon. It's versatile, sure, but for the most part, it's B tier to me. I'd rather bring the Defender or the Pummeler if I want to bring like an SMG or something like that, or even like the explosive crossbow, if I want like a one-handed weapon. The Tenderizer I think is low A for me, and the reason why I say that is because I can just bring the Adjudicator, and the Adjudicator does work, but the Tenderizer does have a lot more versatility. I still think it needs way more ammo in reserve for this weapon to be good, because it is light armor penetrating, and until they put more ammo into the reserves, I'm going to put this in low A. Even if they put more ammo reserves, it would just bump it up to like high A-ish type of status, in my opinion. And then you get the Torture. Torture is definitely S tier. It can kill chargers. It can melt groups of enemies. It is definitely a phenomenal weapon currently as Armor Pen 4. Does very, very well against every enemy that's not a Bile Titan in the game. Definitely use it. It's a very, very fun like type of fire build. So that is my tier list. You guys let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. Tell me where I'm right, tell me where I'm wrong, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.